Bam, 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 3, 2, 1.
You
It's
know, one of these days, we're just going to convince you to just do what you put a placeholder in and not actually put the actual thing.
but this time it's not that time. Before we get started on tonight's broadcast, I just wanted to pay tribute to David Warner, who sadly passed away at the weekend. He was a fantastic actor. He was in Doctor Who in the episode Cold War, playing Professor Grushenko, but he was also the Doctor, that is to say the Unbound Doctor, in the Big Finish audio adventures, and he's also the best portrayal of Ra's al Ghul I've ever seen, and he'll be sorely missed.
I mean, he's been in practically everything. I mean, not just the Batman, but like every goddamn '90s cartoon you can think of. He was in. He was in Titanic. He was in Ninja Turtles. I particularly remember him, and this is a shock. I didn't even realize until like later in the day after I heard that he died. He was in a bunch of Star Trek. He was in a couple
Yeah.
movies. And he's in the infamous episode where he's an alien who tortures Captain Picard for 45 minutes.
You just
Which is
didn't
one
see
of
him
the
because
best-
all that makeup.
Which is one of the best episodes of the series.
So a fantastic actor and a great loss, and our thoughts go out to his family and his colleagues, and I know Lisa Bauman took it particularly badly.
Bernice Summerfield?
Yeah, because she did the audios with him.
Oh, she was in those. I've only heard the first Unbound.
She's his
bit.
companion in the Unbound series.
Okay, I've only heard the first one. I don't remember her being in that. This was like 10 years.
So with that being said then,
To a real one.
welcome to RP
And-
to a real one, and welcome to Doctor Who Reviews,
Okay, now.
where we will try not to reference certain things happening, but I can't promise that.
Oh, we're gonna break
happening?
that rule in a fucking heartbeat.
Well, the thing is, there's about 3 things I could be referencing here, so maybe we'll break them all, who knows?
I'm talking about social media bullshit.
I'm talking about literal
That
crimes being
doesn't,
committed.
that doesn't reduce the number.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
there's
yeah.
literal crimes being committed, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Well, that too.
That's just a wild story. I knew something was going to come out against it, but not that.
I'm talking about pettier social media bullshit.
Yeah, which I may or
That's
may not
relevant
reference
today.
in these introductions. Who knows? Let's
You're-
find
you're
out
like
together, shall we?
You're like talking of Batman again, Batman Beyond. Oh, I'm talking about social media bullshit. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Because Wish Ghul was also in Batman Beyond, so that works.
He was like he was in one of the last episodes of that show.
Or
so,
Batman of the Future, as we got it here. Why?
Yeah,
Why?
Either way,
Ah.
either way, that was a banger of a show.
That was a brilliant show, yes.
Mhm.
Blight, Mr. Freeze, that was a hell of a rose gallery.
The Ink Lady.
The Ink Lady, yeah, Spellbinder.
Sound Guy.
And now I'm remembering Batman Beyond, and I'm sad it's over. Thanks for that. So,
It's not funny.
To
I
keep
keep hoping they bring it back. I keep hoping they bring it back.
to cure me from my depression, then, I'm joined by my 2 usual co-hosts. Firstly, recently returned from a heatwave in Newfoundland, it's Freezing Inferno.
Yay! It was not as bad as the heat wave in the UK, but still, Jesus Christ! Thank God I'm home, and there's fog, and it's only 25 Celsius as opposed to 30 with a 38 humidex. Ooh.
That sounds horrific, and usually I would say, I can't relate, but I can.
I mean, I think you had it worse. You had like 40 C, but probably
It was the hottest temperature we've ever had in this country.
I don't know if we broke temperature records in central Newfoundland.
There was a thing showing that a doomsday temperature thing on a weather network. Like, this will be temperatures in 2050. We don't reverse climate change. And it's like side by side to a current image of what was the temperature that week. It was like all the same.
Yeah,
Where in hell?
isn't the
Orphan
world great?
55 tried
Isn't
to
the world
warn
just
us.
wonderful right now?
Orphan 55 tried to warn us, but it did so a little ham-fistedly.
And to my virtual right, he's not here to talk politics, he's here to play games, damn it. It's Kachiri.
And
Wait,
there
no,
it is.
I thought we were here to talk about Missy.
Yeah,
Well, yes, that
yeah,
too.
yes. But also, fuck the U.S. Supreme Court, smiley face.
Fuck the United States Supreme Court. Oh shit, we just got rejected from
Oh no! My Ninja Gaiden time will never be verified now!
On the bright side, you just got 5 seconds taken off your Pugsy time and a free T-shirt, so that's great.
I've never played Pugsy in my life, but I'll do a run of Pugsy. I mean, they didn't say I had to beat the world record, they just said I had to get a PB.
You guys do know there are co-op times for Shredder Revenge, so we all should just get together.
I mean, if you want to buy me a copy of the game, yeah, sure.
I mean, if you want to get me to a place with stable internet so I don't disconnect.
Don't actually buy me a copy of the game, by the way.
I'll just close the Steam browser really quick.
Emmanuel, don't do it.
So, yeah, I picked last week, and I chose to take us back to the world of Big Finish, back into the world of one of my favorite iterations of this character from the Capaldi era. It's Michelle Gomez's Missy.
Fantastic character.
Absolutely wonderful portrayal. Hey, what if we tried playing with a redemption arc? Interesting. And hey, what if we ignored all that and just went back to like the 2007 incarnation for the next guy and make him go, I'm American, I hate you.
I am so glad his mic cut out there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But I was making a dig about the Sasha Dewan. Back to
Oh, we know.
2007.
You've been making that point ever since he turned up.
I have, and I mean it's relevant again, but we don't need to talk about Sasha
In
Dewan
fact,
for the
with
rest of
all
the...
the ire you have for him, if he ever wound up dead, you'd be probably suspect number one.
He hasn't got eye for Dewan.
Now let's not go that
He
far.
likes Dewan. It's just the fact that he doesn't like the fact that Missy's redemption was never explained. Never explained why he came back to being evil.
Even the comics have a better line about it.
Yeah, it would be any
Well,
actor taking that role on after her would get the same treatment.
Doesn't this season of her audiobooks explain why she's back eval?
There are a
Kind
bunch of
of?
yeah.
In series two, kind of.
I like. Yeah. There's an audio there that does sort of give a way to it, but I would kind of like if the main branch of the show did that instead of forcing the supporting material to go. I have to be the load bearer because Chibnall doesn't care.
They don't explain exactly where in Missy's timeline this all fits. I don't think.
I don't really think there's.
It doesn't actually matter because spoilers. She doesn't actually meet the Doctor in this one, so.
I don't think she meets the Doctor in any of these Missy audios.
It kind of makes sense. She meets other characters, and they're fun.
Yeah, but we're starting with I chose the very first audio of Missy Series 1 from Big Finish, A Spoonful of Mayhem. Which I figured might as well start with that. I debated going with the next audio, which is historical with a interesting side character that we've talked about on the show before. But and he and Gomez played well off each other. But I decided to go.
Is that Divorced, Beheaded, Regenerated?
That is the one.
What a great title that is as well.
Yeah, it's about King Henry VIII in a fashion.
Yeah, in a very loose fashion.
In a very.
Oh, we got Mary Poppins instead today.
Yeah, this whoever done the story, and I don't have the wiki up, so I mean, if you do,
I think it's James Goss.
Okay, James Goss.
Because he's done a lot of the Torchwood audios that have got rave reviews. Let me just.
A reliable hand at Big Finish, if nothing else. Yes.
Let me just double check. A Spoonful of Mayhem. Because I know it's different writers for each of the 4 parts.
Yeah.
And there's also Belly of the Beast, which gets a name check in this one, funnily enough.
Belly of the Monkey.
That may not have been intentional. And The Broken Clock.
Right.
And that's wild, because I think I know what that's in reference to.
Either way, Missy obviously had a bit of that as you called it before you went recording, Dark Universe Mary Poppins tour.
Roy Gill. Roy Gill wrote this.
Who was that?
Roy Gill wrote this.
Roy Gill. Don't know a lot about their output, but
I can't see any output of the big finish.
Missy always had that air of demented Mary Poppins to her, even from her first appearance in Darkwater, Death in Heaven. And this story runs with it in full by making her a governess for a bit.
You've heard of Mary Poppins. Meet Scary Poppins.
And, well, what better way to begin a Mary Poppins thing by having her accost a lovable chimney sweep?
Except he's nothing but like a lovable chimney sweep.
Well, you know, I'm trying to stretch to make the parallel. With
it works. It's a subversion of Mary Poppins, so it does work.
There you go.
She's got some sod up there called Moses Walker, who's a chimney sweep, but also the head of some sort of arcane brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to say the Brotherhood is Shadows, which it would be fitting, you know, given what's happened with David Warner and who he played. That's the League of Shadows. Brotherhood of Shadows is actually Mortal Kombat. Whoops. But
you're close. It's something like the Guild of Smoke and Shadows.
Yeah, it's some sort of secretive organization, and this lowly chimney sweep is in fact the head of it. We found out that she murdered a phoenix to get his name, which is just.
Drowned it in a bucket of water.
She extinguished it in a bucket of water.
And she makes fun. She's like, oh, the phoenix was like, oh, Missy, no, don't do it. Oh. And she's ready to throw Moses off the roof.
Yeah, she's trying to find the arcane gatekeeper. He refuses because they'll burn his family. So she just throws him off the roof. Except...
Wait. You're skipping the great line where it's like, oh, won't you think about me? I've got to go down all these stairs, but you just get to go down right away.
Also, I have a wife. We all have a wife. Now, that's a fan fiction I want to see written.
No. It's
Lucy Saxon.
3.
Oh, yes. I was thinking of the Doctor, yeah. Of course it's Lucy Saxon, yes. All right, that's a comic I want to see. Lucy Saxon and Missy.
There's a small chance she also married Clara somewhere.
She didn't marry Clara.
There's a story.
Now that's a story.
Oh,
Untold Adventures. Untold Adventures. Are you listening? Make it happen.
Just don't look under my bed. It's fine.
The 40 feet.
Excuse me. What? No. We're not glossing over that. What?
The 40 feet scene from which is familiar was
after she drops the chimney sweep.
The 40-foot scene from which is familiar was a proposal.
20 feet, but yes.
Yeah, okay.
If it was 40 feet, she'd be dead.
Yeah, it's Clara.
There's a reason why I love The Witch is Familiar so much, and it is Missy and Clara.
I have warmed to it now that, you know, at the time I was like, I can't believe they're treating my Clara like shit. Oh, what they're doing.
People didn't like the fact that it messed with the lore, and also, where do you get the cup of tea? It doesn't matter.
Oh, God. But, yeah. Missy throws a lovable... Well, maybe not lovable. Missy throws a chimney sweep off the roof, and they both get teleported away.
Yeah. And then we get the credits music, and this is great. This theme is great.
It's a good theme.
I'm going to get to do this for once. This theme is very much a dark mirror of the Doctor's.
You know what? Hit the button. Doctor Who Mirror Alert. Doctor Who Mirror Alert.
I love this theme. It's whimsical, like Missy. It's got underlying menace to it, like Missy. It sounds a bit like the Doctor's, but isn't quite. I have to say, actually, a lot of the Big Finish opening themes are fantastic. The Diary of River Song one in particular.
Oh, speaking of River's song. Fun trivia.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Oh, do you now?
I think so.
One of the upcoming characters is actually voiced by her niece.
That's exactly what I thought you were going to say. Yeah, Bonnie Kingston.
Hey.
Who does a good job in the time that she's allowed to, because Missy just dominates everything.
Well, yeah. But so who's teleported Missy and the chimney sweep away?
Cosmo.
Holy shit! It's
The
Dan
Bat-
Starkey.
The Bat People from Series 2.
It's not the Krillitanes, no. But funny you mentioned that. As soon as he opened his mouth, I thought, yeah, that's Dan Starkey. But this is not Strax. This is a different character. This is Mr. Cosmo.
Which, y'all, do you mind if I spoil the next appearance of the kids we're going to talk about later?
That's in
In the
series
next
2,
season.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Spoil it away.
Strax is in that one.
Oh, that's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer. But yes, he is.
Yeah. But I didn't know, so when I was listening to it on the boat like a year ago, I'm like, oh, shit, it's him. Anyway, so this creature, Cosmo, he's basically a bureaucrat, you know? Oh, this teleport is going to require so much
He's a
paperwork to
warden.
do it.
Yeah, the species is Warden, and they basically uphold the rules of reality. So he doesn't like the fact that Missy's going around causing chaos. But there's more to it than this, because she's been exiled to Victorian England, and every time she tries to break a rule, she gets sanctioned. The form of the sanction is not made entirely clear this time.
By the way, all of this is delivered by Missy literally stopping the plot of the story to sidebar, here's what's been going on, lovelies, a little bit of exposition time.
Yes, which I like.
But yeah, they exiled Missy to Victorian London for being a chaotic, evil agent of...
Well, actually, they specifically did this because she committed a crime against the Wardens, except she hasn't committed it yet.
It's Minority Report.
It's
basically.
very Minority Report, yes.
But yeah, so the rules are you're not allowed to escape the planet, no using advanced technology, and no killing other people.
And every time that happens, he intervenes and saves them. So
And so when he tells her all that, oh, we got you here before because you committed a crime that you haven't committed yet. If you tell me, I promise I won't kill you all. If you tell me,
she says, if you tell me what it is, I can go and make sure I don't do it. I said, I definitely won't come back and kill all of your race.
And there's some real cutting social satire with the Wardens, because they're like, Victorian London is a place of empire and order, and being exiled there will help you reform. And she's like, well, what am I supposed to do in stuffy old 19th century planet Earth? And he's like, well, the locals have this system in place where they exchange labor for pieces of paper and metal tokens. It keeps them occupied, docile, and orderly. Also stifles hope and rebellion.
Yep.
Are you telling me to get a job? Exactly. Capital idea. It's like...
To which I respond, we are here to play games.
Why do you even say it? It's just like...
You were the one that says, let's not reference this, and now you've done it twice.
I broke my own rule. It's fine. That makes sense. She breaks rules. I break rules. Contextual theming.
Mirroring!
I don't mind. Just do it in moderation, so the whole podcast is not just dunking on the shithead. But I don't mind.
Well, I mean, my new favorite pastime is to dunk on that shithead, though. So
I know. I noticed.
I'll settle for being pleased that the episode is dunking on capitalism.
Yeah. It very much is dunking on capitalism. These warden creatures, I know what they remind me of.
Oh yeah.
Have you read any of the Discworld novels?
I have not.
Do you mind if I spoil one of the Discworld novels a slight bit? Okay. These wardens are basically the auditors of reality, who serve much the same purpose in The Hogfather and Thief of Time, which, funny enough, was the first Discworld novel I read and bought. Nice. So that has a special place in my heart. And in that one, they actually come down to the Discworld to end it, or rather to end time, so that they can just categorize everything without humanity messing it up. Yeah. So they're the auditors of reality. We cut from this scene with a switch of narrator. Missy's no longer the narrator. It's now Oliver Davis, who is a teenage boy, lives with his sister Lucy and their father Montague Oliver has been expelled from his last school for setting fire to the library.
Which he accidentally lit it on fire when he was doing a science experiment. So
He
he's not like
claims.
he's not like fucking Beavis. Fire, fire.
Okay, Rex Raptor.
I said Beavis.
All right.
You realize that's what little Karibo is doing.
Yes, I know. That's why I referenced it. Oh, move on.
That's the joke.
I know, Renier Wolfcastle.
That's
Move on.
the joke.
I know, Renier
Hey, you
Wolfcastle.
suck, McBain.
I know, Renier Wolfcastle 2. Let's move on.
On closer inspection, these are loafers.
You got to do this by the book. By book.
Oh God. So yeah, Oliver Davis. He's a teenage boy, Victorian England. He's got a 15-year-old sister named Lucy who's into art and fine culture.
I don't
and
think
all
she's
that sort of
15 because
thing.
she's his younger sister.
Yeah. And everything is about to change because they're about to get a new.
Oh, God.
Computer.
So, because this is an audiobook, they've got to take liberties with the way they do this.
Wow, look out the window! Holy shit! There's something happening right in front of us! Wow, look at that! Let me describe it to you in detail, audio, with my voice.
I'm not going to
so that
complain
if
about
anyone
this
is
because it's an
listening, they can hear.
audiobook.
Wow, look at that! That person is raising their hand and doing a thing. I can't believe it! Now they're doing this! So,
Brother, I have eyes too. You don't need to.
Yes, but
tell
the
me
people
everything.
listening to this
But
do not
what's
have
happening is quite great. So, the father's arranged for a tutor to teach Oliver and Lucy, and the tutor makes the fatal mistake of encountering Missy, or as they call her, a flower woman, a basket. He does something to the basket. She pulls out a gun. She pulls a gun out of the basket. She says something to him. He runs for the hills.
Well, they've got a new governess.
And then they say, oh, she's not a flower lady at all. She's like some sort of crow woman. She puts the gun away. She's coming up the stairs. And yeah, she takes the place of the governor. She's their new governess. And she
I
gets
love
an
the
audition.
interview
Yeah.
I love the interview that they had. She's like, "Oh, do you like children, man?" "No, I loathe them." "Oh, but that's good, because you wouldn't want them spoiled, now would you?"
Yeah. She actually impresses her potential new employer. Although there is an element of hypnotism going on, possibly.
Well, yeah, I would say that, but it's pretty low key. It's not like Delgado Master. Boop.
And we
Obviously,
obviously said right away this is a Mary Poppins pastiche.
And they really go for it.
I love this line so much.
Go for it.
So he says, what are your strongest qualities? She goes, I'm fabulous at strategy, mathematics, creative roleplay. I have the patience of a crocodile. In fact, you could say I'm mostly marvelous in every manner.
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great.
Lamp shaded all the way.
And she's even like, "Oh well, I'll even be nice. If I don't like you afterwards, I'll kill you."
I think she even says I'll throw in a freebie or something like that.
Yeah, she's just like, I'll do you a solid. I won't cause your death time,
So she's charmed Montague. She doesn't quite have the same effect on the children just yet. They are
suspicious
and alarmed by their new governess.
Because they just saw hold up this guy and like, get out of here, motherfucker.
And also, Lucy says like different subjects that she was taught by her previous tutor, and Mrs. is like, that's boring. You don't need to know that. Why would you want to know about that? What she does do, however, is take them on a field trip because Lucy has sketched a sphinx. Lucy likes to sketch a lot of things.
She saw a sphinx display at the Crystal Palace.
Yes, which sadly burned down in the 20th century.
Intact here, and Missy actually takes interest in that, and Lucy's like, "Oh, you like it?" No, it's dreadful, but the Sphinx.
I half expected her to be the one that actually burnt it down, but wrong time frame.
I mean, Who knows?
Well, maybe she comes back and does it later on, but for now, she does not burn down Crystal Palace. She goes down there, she slides down the banister.
Just the mental image of Michelle Gomez sliding down a banister.
And doing it backwards quite clearly, because what Oliver says.
I love it.
I'm just imagining Michelle Gomez just, atop a banister, sliding down backwards, legs first. Chest
it's a very,
to the banister.
as she would say, it's a very good image.
Yes. It is that.
But they hide out in a hollow iguanodon at Crystal Palace.
In the belly of the beast.
The belly of the beast.
As they call it. And these actually existed and still exist today.
Oh, yeah, because of, the fossil finds and all that of the Victorian
era.
They
They had dinosaurs displays that you could go to. I don't think they
Is the iguanodon the one where the guy, fucked up the bones and put them on backwards and everyone laughed at him?
Oh, God, was it that or the Brontosaurus? There was a dinosaur they thought existed and then didn't.
Yeah. I remember that from, when I was a kid in the 90s. Every kid in the 90s loved dinosaurs, Jurassic Park and all that shit. Gearing up every fucking fact they could know about dinosaurs. I vaguely remember, reading in some book, oh, someone discovered dinosaurs and they fucked up and everyone laughed at them. They were a laughing stock.
Yeah.
But, well, while they're hiding out in a hollow iguanodon, Missy is doing an arcane ritual on the Sphinx.
She actually gives the Sphinx some of her blood.
And some regeneration energy, even.
And kisses it. I think that's what the kissing is for.
Yeah, it's straight out of... It's the same sort of thing the Doctor does in the Angels Take Manhattan.
Yes. So the Sphinx comes to life, and it claims to be just a what's that word?
Facsimile.
No, it's simulacrum.
Simulacrum, yeah.
Yeah, simulacrum of the Egyptian Sphinxes, which Missy claims to have met as well. She's not falling for it. She's like, I know you're a Sphinx. I know you're the gatekeeper. I can't be a gatekeeper. I have no gate.
We can't have a classic Doctor Who without just a little Von Danikenism, can we?
So what is Missy's goal here? Well, she can't use technology thanks to the Wardens. But magic.
But magic and alchemy.
Alchemy, arcane ritual. They can't stop her doing that.
Yeah, which I really like that the angle they go. They just go full fucking magic and Doctor Who. It's not aliens. It's fucking magic.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. But yeah, so she gets a riddle out of the Sphinx, which the main clue of the riddle is seek the lay of the land underground.
Or don't, because that's a terrible episode.
I said lay.
I know, that's the joke.
That's the joke. Hey, McBain, that wasn't very funny.
She also takes a ruby out of the Sphinx's mouth.
And then the Sphinx freezes back. And, but then a guard catches her because they broke into the...
A park keeper, not a guard.
Well, either way, authority catches her. And because they broke into the park after hours to do this ritual. But the kids bail her out. and she's like, well, yeah, I was taking the kids on a field trip.
Oh, God, they bail her out, but this is the one oof moment I have.
Oh, yeah?
Describing all of that as very special.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't great. There's another oof moment I had near the end. It's oof basically because of the continuity reference.
Is it the fact that they didn't make a reference to the British Museum stealing everything?
No. But I mean, that's ironically implied, I guess. But either way, it's something else. But this is, it's one of the few little speed bump on your way.
I'm not all right with it, but it's not enough to ruin it.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
Because it's just to get out of this whole interaction with the park keeper. She passes off the ritual as a game to entertain him. And Lucy goes along with it. Go, come along, dear brother, and all that. So she gets him off the hook. And then we get a montage.
I mean, they basically know what's up. They're like, oh, we saw all that shit you did. We saw the Sphinx talk. We saw the Ruby. And so, since they know, Missy kind of recruits them to help her. And over the next few weeks...
She recruits them to help her, and also the children start to come around to her a little bit because of this. It's not mutual.
Not really.
It's definitely not mutual.
It's Missy we're talking about, for God's sakes.
But we do get like a montage of her various escapades for the next few weeks as she's preparing for something. But we do get a rather interesting moment, a more intimate moment between Missy and Oliver. And one thing this does very well is, kind of like with Missy's redemption in Series 10, kind of like leaving it grey.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Like,
because she actually says, "Oh, I understand why you did what you did at the school. You miss your mother, don't you? And that's affected you terribly. And I understand." Now, does she understand, or is she just trying to manipulate him?
Who can say for sure?
The beauty is, it's not answered.
Gotta love that ambiguity.
Nor should it be answered.
Exactly.
Turns out not every question has to have an answer to it.
Yeah, Cheb now.
Mind-blowing, I know, but it doesn't.
I actually think she probably sees him in her. The mischievous boy that meant good but did things in the wrong way kind of deal. Maybe sees a younger master inside the boy.
I can see that.
I like that interpretation.
The whole thing, the whole reason he says why he burned down the library of the school and got expelled is because he was just trying to build an engine using magnets and galvanism. And so maybe that reminded her of him.
No, you gotta also understand, even Missy at the start of this episode was like, she's trying to embetter the world. Like, she has a different viewpoint on her actions.
Yeah. She's mostly trying to embetter herself, but yes. But Missy's scheme then, it involves the British Museum, because of course it does.
Oh, we're just gonna steal a cultural artifact back.
I'm surprised they didn't mention that actually it wasn't stealing because the British Museum had stolen everything in it, but
I mean, well, you don't have to mention it if it's true.
Yeah, so what she wants is an amphora.
Yeah.
It's a jar. It's a vase. She wants this amphora, and Lucy is the first to object. Lucy has broken the spell against her, if there was a spell, pretty easily. But she still agrees to help.
So they steal this thing, and Missy wanted it because something was inside, and, well, they call it, like, a genie, but it's
a
an alien thing.
It's a gem.
A vapor.
It's actually
a vapor form alien.
A vapor-based varioform or something.
But either way, it sort of, the thing sort of operates on the same.
There's a couple of fun bits before that, though.
I'll give you anything you want in exchange for my freedom.
There's a couple of fun bits before that happens, though. Firstly, Missy gets the amphora and doesn't hurt anyone, and we know she doesn't hurt anyone because the ones didn't teleport her. So she stuck to the rules there. Lucy, I think, is because she's small, she's hiding in a sarcophagus for half the day.
God.
And then sneaks out to help, let them in. But this line is so good, even though it's a throwaway line of dialogue. She's talking about champagne and says, I once detonated a bottle of champagne and prematurely launched an entire battle fleet. That was fun.
Yeah. But she gets a wish in exchange for freeing the vapor form, but then she's like, oh, I don't want to cash it in yet. Back in the bottle you go, motherfucker.
Missy is cashing in her genie in the bank.
He brings it back to wrestling.
I mean,
and that's the only wrestling news we're going to talk about in this podcast, because otherwise we'll need the Rainiac screen soundbite.
Yes. And I should have said that when she actually,
you
know, takes the favour, but never mind.
Well, either, but Yeah, so this is
So
another
speaking
thing.
of gaslights, the kids start to, or not the kids,
Lucy,
Lucy starts to realize that Missy might be gaslighting them.
No, no,
wait
no,
a
no. The
minute.
Unquiet Dead was last weekend.
She said she was gonna free it, but then she put it right back in the bottle. Maybe Missy isn't all that good.
Also, Lucy does say to Missy, gin are not to be trusted because she read about it in the Arabian Nights.
And Missy's like, really? Really?
No, she just says that this is a shadow life form, and they're bound by the rules. Interesting parallel there.
Yeah, parallel, he says.
But what was she really doing? Well, Lucy finds out because she's listening at the door. She has a talk with her father. The father's very impressed with what she's been doing with the children because there's a definite transformation in them. And she talks with him about the railway line that he's the director of, and gets details about how the engine runs and where it all goes. And Lucy has figured out what Missy is doing here because all of the places they've visited are next to the railway line.
And the trains also have these. It's fancy steam engines that have condensing agents that recycle the steam, so nothing's wasted. Peak efficiency, blah blah blah. And they can even go a whole 25 miles an hour. Which Missy, I love how sarcastic she's like. 25 miles an hour. Oh my! The human mind can't comprehend speed.
Yeah.
That's.
Mind you, this is also the same episode where she asks Lucy why she isn't using a cell phone.
That's great.
Yes.
It's like a teenager not taking selfies? What is going on?
I forgot about that. You could read it in a book. Why would you read a book when you got a cell phone? And then Lucy,
Well,
Lucy
I
says
don't
about,
have access to a phone, and I don't know how.
yeah, how would Alexander Graham Bell's invention help me take a picture?
God. But yeah, this train line that Mr. Davis works for has just completed an entire loop, presumably around the what the London Underground will become. Part of it.
I think that's the idea. Yes.
Yeah.
But Oliver does not want to
just-
hear this. Oliver falls out with his sister.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Missy's very interested in the engines of the trains, but yeah, Oliver and Lucy have a little disagreement here. Clearly, Missy's interest in all things magical and arcane is somehow connected to Father's trains. And I mean, she didn't free the djinn, so, gee, I don't know if she's on the level. And Oliver's like, what are you talking about? Missy is great.
Yes, and then he just leaves.
Given you mentioned earlier that you thought that she was using the master-style hypnosis on Mr. Davis, I don't know. I think it implies later on maybe Oliver.
No, I don't think Oliver is brainwashed.
No, I think it's just that she sees a kindred spirit in him.
Yeah.
And he sees a kindred spirit. Yeah, I mean, it's just they both feel like the same. And Lucy is going to be an allegory of the Doctor here, and is going to try and put a stop to Missy's plans.
Yes.
So they go off without Lucy knowing, and Oliver goes off and takes one of his father's spare railway uniforms.
Doesn't take it. He asked his father for it.
Yeah, they make up a lie
Or a
about
play.
a play or something.
Or yeah.
Yeah, Missy asked him
put
for
together a
it.
play.
It was creative role play, like she said in her credentials speech earlier.
So they start a plan where they get on a train, and now you can make your money in the bank.
Yeah, out comes the genie. Missy is cashing in her genie in the bank, and the genie in the bank goes into the train because the genie.
Did Missy have to rub it the right way? Put the genie in a bottle.
My mouth is wide open right now. Yeah. So ignoring all of that, the genie goes in the train. God damn it, Kateri.
Goes into the steam engine of the train.
And the genie is intelligent steam.
Yep.
So it prevents the boiler from going critical because she's pumping all the power into the train, and no.
Yeah. Yes, Kateri.
No. Oh, all right. I reacted to it, so it must go in now. But she's pumping all the power through the train. The genie is stopping it from going critical. Oliver's there saying that the Neil's going to the danger zone. Danger zone's the best place, darling.
Here's where there's another gag that it rubs me the wrong way. Well, not. It's more continuity based than your one in the park. But she's like, "Oh dear, you're like an ogron. You can placate you with a banana."
I knew you'd object to that, but
And it's like,
why do we
you
still have
know,
the Ogrons in Doctor Who in 2022? Why?
because Doctor Who doesn't know problematic from its own ass. That's why.
So what's Missy been doing then, really, other than scaring the hell out of the
I,
passengers that
I,
they picked up?
well, that's part of the plan. Okay, so the train is going fast as shit round the loop in the underground, and is passing by all the spots that Missy and the kids were visiting. And all these places are connected by ley lines, like alchemical ley lines, and the ruby she got from the Sphinx is activating them, and she's going to use that magical power to escape planet Earth and her capture. And that's basically what happens in the story. I give.
Yeah, that's why I picked it. I was going to pick the one about how fast are they going? Yeah, judging by your husband's cowardly scream, 140 miles an hour. But that doesn't work as a GIF very well.
But don't worry. We have someone here to help. Is it Batman? No, it's a scientist. Batman's a scientist. It's not Batman. It's Lucy Davis.
It's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Or Lucy in the Sky grabbing rubies.
Yeah, Lucy in the Sky with a ruby. So she worked out what was going on, and she got on the train, jumped through the gap at high speed, which is badass.
Lucy Davis is a badass.
Not really, but this particular move is a badass.
This is good, yeah.
And she's
so
figured
now
out what's going on.
Yeah.
She thinks that Missy is one of those shadow creatures, and therefore, because she couldn't kill the park keeper, she couldn't kill the old man, or she didn't kill the old man, she didn't kill anybody at the museum, so Lucy thinks she can't do that because it's against the rules that she's bound by.
Which is pretty close to what's actually going on. She's not wrong in a sense, so
But
it's actually
Missy's
very smart.
Missy's actually proud of that, though. Oh, I am a good teacher.
Yes. You're
And
here
so
to ruin
she's
my
trying
plan, but actually, I taught you well. My God, I should ask for a raise or something.
But yeah, and so Lucy tries to tell Oliver, this is crazy. You got to stop her.
She grabs the ruby and says, "I'll smash it on the tracks if you don't stop this." And there's a struggle, and Lucy falls out of the train. Oh no, it's terrible. The little girl is dead, except not, because here comes the teleportation from the warden again.
And Chekhov's wardens are back.
Yeah, and this is just...
And then Missy was like, "You activated my trap card."
Yeah,
You
so
just activated my trap card.
she gets the vortex manipulate, which I assume she had the entire time. She just couldn't use it because that's against the rules. Yeah. But she's now in Warden's office, so it's not like he can teleport her. It's not like he can teleport her again because she'll just end up back in the office.
Yeah.
It's like that episode of Conan the Adventurer where the final episode where they sent whenever they hit him with a sword, it sent the lizard men into like this abyss, this alternate dimension. But then they do a thing where they hit them with the sword and they go away, but they just come back because the portal's been opened and it's left open.
God.
It's like that. But
Hey, Warden. You recognize the walls?
yeah, so she tries to use the vortex manipulator. This makes Mr. Cosmo very angry. He transforms into his bat-like appearance in front of the children. Missy is completely unconcerned by this. Because it turns out she's cleverer than everyone in the story.
Of course, she's already won.
Oh, yes.
You're not in the warden's office.
No, and that ruby, I wasn't doing that to kill people or anything like that. I was doing that to power up my vortex manipulator and throw off your teleport. What do you mean? Do you recognise these walls? They're inside the Emperor.
Fun!
This is like some trap inside trap nonsense,
Yeah.
and I love it.
You mean season 3? Not season 3. The Third Doctor Master Stories.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the curse of fatal death.
And I went back in time and bribed them.
Yeah, basically. Except not. But the point is
Well,
that
in the
she,
surprise move, Missy actually kind of appears to give a shit about the kids, and it's like, okay, kids, come close to me, and we'll teleport away from the Bat Monster.
yeah, she's trapped Mr. Cosmo in the amphora for however long his life will be, and the way that Mr. Cosmo reacts, it's a long time,
It's not gonna be happy.
and you
And
can
yeah,
actually
and
hear
so
him inside the jar ranting and raving.
they say that they return it to the museum after, and it's like, and some people say you can hear voices coming from the bottle. Yeah.
I can't believe Tom Hardy was trapped in that bottle.
Or perhaps he's wondering why someone would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane.
That's not a bad Bane voice at all, actually.
Oh, well, thank you.
Good God.
Batman.
All I
You'll
had
just
to
have
do
to.
is
You'll just
all
have
I
to
had to
imagine
do
the
is put
fire.
my fist in front of my mouth and talk like this, and the kind of sounds like pain.
I am the milkman. My milk is delicious.
Oh yeah, so Lucy's basically like, "Hey, you brought us back out of the bottle, and you didn't leave us with the Bat Monster. You really do care, Missy." Oh, the hell with that! Beep beep.
She kind of does and she kind of doesn't, because she says the jar's only really got enough to fit one person in anyway. But she did free the genie. The genie is free.
And then she leaves, but then she comes back and she's like, "Oh, by the way, take this warden idiot and give him back to the museum or whatever. Behave yourselves. Bye."
Yeah, she actually says, behave yourselves, or I'll be back to sort you out. And Oliver does note at the end she never did come back, presumably because they were never bad enough to warrant it. Although Lucy kept trying.
Yeah. Well,
I thought
They
Lucy
do
was the one that was
catch
against Misty, though.
and also, and this is somehow, for some strange reason, the old grandfather clock that the Davises had vanished along with Missy.
Yes, and I love Mr. Davis saying, if she was going to take a keepsake, why does she have to take that? How'd she get it through the front door?
Can you guess why?
I'm guessing it plays into the later in the box set.
It's a TARDIS.
Yeah, it's her TARDIS. That's
Oh, is that the broken clock of the title?
yeah.
Because, okay, slight spoiler alert. One of the incarnations of the Master had a clock as a TARDIS.
Yeah.
A grandfather clock.
Yeah. And so that is a spoonful of mayhem.
Okay.
What did we think?
Can I go first for once?
Sure.
I really enjoyed this. Not just because it's Michelle Gomez and she is fantastic at everything she does, particularly Missy, but it's just fun. I mean, it's not that long. You can just enjoy it as like a popcorn adventure. Michelle Gomez is fantastic. I think the children do really well. Everyone really does really well, including Dan Starkey, even though I kept thinking of him as Strax.
Which, it's hard not to do.
There's not too many continuity references, but enough to like really satisfy long-time fans, although the Ogeron thing is a bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
And also the Oliver special thing is really unnecessary. Apart from that, I really enjoyed it.
Right. Kuchira, you want to go next?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I had two different mindsets on this. Whenever I was listening to it, it's an enjoyable listen. It's a good pilot episode. But then at the end, like after I had time to think back on what I thought of the whole episode by itself, it's a good listen, but I don't think it's a good episode necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this story should have had like another hour to it for this story alone. Because a lot happened and at the same time nothing happened.
You have just summed up Big Finish, basically.
Yeah. Well, you would want to see, say, more of their adventures.
Something like that, or more. Because it feels okay. So this felt like 5 short stories about 2 weeks she spent with these kids instead of an actual episode that was coherent. It's like
Yeah, it kind of does have that anthology sort of feel to it.
it was like, oh, I have an idea for a whole storyline where Missy's Mary Poppins. Great, we'll just have it be episode 1. What? But no, I have these whole 4. No, like oh. So like I don't know. It was a good listen. Of course, Michelle Gomez is amazing. Um, it just it was just there was a lot, but nothing at all.
Right.
Well, you
Yeah.
picked it, so what did you think?
Oh yeah, well, I enjoy it. You know, of course, obviously, Michelle Gomez. We stan. Love Missy. Gotta love Missy, but the kids are good too. Yeah, I really enjoy the that they play into the Mary Poppins thing, and also the whole alchemical magical thing. Which I'm a sucker for that sort of gonzo wild shit. Hey, magic is real, and I'm using ley lines and shit. It's fun. It has a couple of prickly moments here and there, but it's a good start. And I mean, there are 3 other audios that have a wide variety that you probably are meant to binge through with this rather than. But taking as a standalone, as starter, it's not bad at all. You could do a lot worse with Big Finish. I definitely have, so I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you two had a decent to good time with it, and yeah, definitely seek out the Missy box set if you like. The other 3 stories are varying levels of good. I'd say the second one is up there with this one, and then 3 and 4 are kind of okay. 3 is a little experimental and has an interesting twist hook to it, and 4 is just like I said. Why if Missy had a slave labor camp, and it's pretty grim and gritty, and it's not like the fun kind of evil. It's like, haha, I'm going to push you off the roof now. It's, haha, you're living in misery as a slave trying to escape, and it's futile. And it's like, that's not fun. That's just kind of miserable. And I found that audio a little miserable as I was listening to it. But yeah, so maybe we'll go back to the Missy one. Because there's also series 2 and 3, which is wild. But, what are we doing next?
I wish I could answer that, but it's not my pick. We go back to the old order, which means it's Kachiri's turn.
So I reviewed the upcoming pick, and I decided to reject it. I agree or do not disagree with the episode's fragrant use of what's his name? James Corden.
Oh, thank the Christ!
James. I was like, what are you leading up to? Oh, okay.
I don't really have a pick. I
Well,
don't know. Have you done the Tomb of the Cybermen?
Yes.
Yes.
If you don't have a pick, shall we just do Cold War?
Sure.
There we go.
Tribute to David Warner?
Tribute to David Warner, and we get to talk about Clara. I see this as
But this does not count as a pick. Kachiri will get his pick next week.
That's fair.
That's only fair.
But yeah, okay.
This was just a mutual decision. That was.
And
By the way,
season.
that social media thing, the dude deleted all his tweets. He just did that.
And nothing of value was lost. Okay, so yeah, next time will be Cold War then with Matt Smith, the late David Warner, Jenna Coleman, and Liam Cunningham. You can find us on Twitter at Reviews Doctor, individually at Rain the Maniac, at Freezing Inferno, at the Kachiri, and at Concave Usurper. We all stream games on twitch.tv. Again, it's /Rainiac, /Freezing Inferno, /the Kachiri, and /Concave Usurper. I haven't done it yet, but I am going to make a highlight reel of that Fall Guys stream. And we might have another Fall Guys stream coming up this weekend because, oops, all Yeetus edition.
Oops, all hammers.
Oops, all Yeetus.
I am going to be presenting at Missouri Game Convention this weekend.
Oh, nice.
I'm on a game show panel.
Nice.
By the time, I'm not going to promote it here, but by the time we do the next podcast, by the time it's out, I do say I will have part 2 of what did I call that thing? What? Hang on, I got to look at my own blog and see what the fuck I called this. I called it A Quantum Microcosm Adrift on the Sea of History. My capsule review deep dive into the 90s show Quantum Leap. Season 2's retrospective should be up and be able to be plugged for the Cold War podcast when you see it. But in the meantime, you can look up Season 1 words, which Rainiac will put down below for you.
Yes, I will.
I'm also going to start editing my ranking of all 94 Mega Man Boss Robot Master stages.
Oh my god, that's a...
I mean, I've seen people do that, and that's a lot of work.
I mean, you've literally played through them all.
I did this ranking on my stream back in February. Now I'm finally doing the video. I finally recorded.
I don't even. I did a marathon of all the main Mega Man games, and I couldn't rank this shit.
I still need to put Mega Man 11.
One game had all 8 stages in the bottom 12. I'll let you guys know that right now.
I wonder which one that might be.
Oh wait, now I remember which one that you didn't care for.
Well, it's either 7 or 8.
I thought, was it 10? I thought, no wait, 9. Not, or is it 9 or 10?
I dislike 5, 7, 9, and base.
5, 7, 9 and base. Okay.
I forgot about base. Yeah, fair enough.
Mega Man and base, all 8 stages are in the bottom 12.
It was not all about that base, no treble.
Yeah, Mega Man and base. It's like, I mean.
The game was built around base, unfortunately.
It is. It really is.
It's also built around a part called Damage Absorber. They're like, oh, hey, we have that part that halves your damage. Oh, won't that make that too easy? Okay.
It makes me sad that there's a Magic Man, and the only Magic Man is in Mega Man and base, so people will not know who he is.
I mean, he's good. At least the Ground Man theme.
Yeah, not the stage, because that stage is actually...
Let's take forever to kill that fucking
But of all the bosses to bring back for 8, they bring back Tengu Man?
No, 8 came back. 8 was before base.
It was before. They're just like, oh, well.
Yeah, no, Keiji Inafune was like, oh, hey, the Super Nintendo's still a thing. Let's just show we can have graphical powers on the Super Nintendo there by having...
Okay, so he came back from 8, not for 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And the reason why they had those 2 bosses was so, hey, these bosses were,
we got the assets.
Yeah, we have the assets. It shows that, hey, you can have PlayStation graphics on the Super Nintendo, which the game runs like shit.
I mean, I wouldn't say it runs like shit. It's just...
Have you played it lately?
Some of the latest Super Nintendo games are fantastic. I mean, you've got Donkey Kong Country 3, you've got Kirby's Dream Land 3, but then you've got Mega Man and base.
Yeah, no, the thing is, the game is built around Damage Absorber and base, unfortunately.
It's hard and not like a good hard. It's like a fuck you.
Yeah.
There's a hallway in Burner Man stage where spears just come out at you and there's no way you can dodge them. And each spear does 6 damage.
You can dodge him as base with a double jump.
You can dodge them as base with double jump and dash jumps. You just get in front of them. But as Mega Man, which I base all these rankings off of playing as Mega Man.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Mega Man got shit on in all these stages.
He really did, yeah.
Like Tinker Man stage, like everything's perfectly fine with your double jump and dash jumps. As regular Mega Man, you have
the ice wall.
Yeah, ice wall. You ice wall everything to make.
We literally had to make a weapon that makes a platform so that the main character of the series could fucking compete with the platforming.
Before I forget, you can buy A Time for the Trees by John Dillon.
And Back to the 11th Hour, Volumes 1 and 2 by Chris McTeer, available now on Amazon.com. Yes, so, thank you for listening to us bitch about Mega Man and featuring a talk about Spoonful Man.
Thank you for listening to us bitch about Mega Man and get a guy off the internet.
Well,
we have roasted a guy to obscure. He's also removed as a mod, by the way. I joined that Discord.
Never be the main character of Twitter. Just general life advice.
Ratioed.
Never seek to be the main character of Twitter. It's just not a good time.
Hey Rain, learn how to open this can of beans yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Say goodnight, Radiac.
Jesus Christ. Good night, Radiac. what we're talking about? Yeah, we hope you enjoyed A Spoonful of Mayhem. Join us next time for a tribute to the late David Warner in Cold War. Matt Smith stars in Cold War. Until then, bye for now. Before we get started tonight, I wanted to pay tribute to start again.
You said no jokes until after this.
That wasn't a joke. That was me tripping on my tongue.
That was his tongue going. Blah, blah, blah.
I think the sweet chili sauce has affected my tongue.